Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning and helping us kick off the first Bank Roadshow of the year. I'm Andrea Mendez-Barrutia, the Director of Community Engagement for the Hispanic Collaborative. For those who may be new, the purpose of the monthly Bank Roadshow series is to support Milwaukee's banking, financial, and frontline entrepreneur support community with in-depth information on the entrepreneurial ecosystem, programs, and services in order to strengthen our community's existing and budding entrepreneurs. For today's presentation on Scale Up Milwaukee, we have Elizabeth Szynski. She's their Director of Programs and Impact. I will pass it over to her and then we'll open up to some Q&A. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Andrea. I'm so excited to be here. I've been working with Andrea and the Hispanic Collaborative for a few years now, and I love the work that they're doing and that they're progressing in Milwaukee. So I'm very excited to give you guys some insight into the things that Scale Up Milwaukee is doing. This is a casual conversation. I know we have Q&A at the end, but if you have a burning question, feel free to interrupt me or drop it in the chat. As I mentioned to Andrea, I'm an open book. So if you have any questions, just ask. I'll give you my contact information. My email is right there. I love talking about our programs and learning more about what's going on in our business community. So we'd love to connect more afterwards. So as Andrea mentioned, my name is Elizabeth Szynski. I'm the Director of Programs and Impact for Scale Up Milwaukee. And we'll go ahead and get started. If you could go to the next slide, Andrea. So what is Scale Up Milwaukee? I don't know if many of you are familiar with us. Sometimes we fly a little under the radar. We are an economic development initiative under the Greater Milwaukee Committee. The GMC is a local nonprofit that has been around for decades. That is comprised of about 200 local business, community, and civic leaders, all trying to make Milwaukee the best place to live, learn, work, play, and stay. And Scale Up is the prominent economic development initiative. We started in 2013 as an idea that came out of Babson College in Boston from a man named Dan Eisenberg. At this time, in the early 2000s and 2010s, there was a lot of focus on startups and funneling resources, finances, and other support to startups. And we love startups. A lot of our companies started as startups, but what happens when those startups get out of startup mode? They become scale-ups. So that is our precipice to help local companies, are those that have existed, those have been around for a while, that maybe they've plateaued and they haven't figured out where do they go next? How do they grow? How do they get to the next level? That is what our main mission is for. And our mission is listed at the top. Scale Up Milwaukee is radically transforming a culture of growth to create inclusive prosperity for all. While our bread and butter are for these companies that have been around for a while, we want to see any and every company grow. And that means all companies in all different communities, which is why I'm really excited to talk to you about the programs that we have today. Since we started in 2013, we have since expanded to include a membership platform and 2 business accelerators that I'll dive into a little bit more now. Go ahead, Andrea. Oh, and many of the photos that I included are pre-pandemic, because as I was putting these in, I was thinking, why isn't anyone wearing a mask? And why did we have an in-person event? But I just threw in a few photos from some of our pre-pandemic in-person events. So this was, I think, either a membership meeting or a Meet the Masters, which I'll get to in a minute, of a local entrepreneur asking a question. So go ahead, Andrea. So membership. We launched membership in 2016, and it is used as a mechanism to continue connections, involvement, networking, and education for business owners. Essentially, it's a concierge service with tools, services, and access to experts and industry leaders for entrepreneurs in any stage of life. Again, our bread and butter are the scale ups. The companies have been around for a little while, but we welcome any type of company into our membership program. Primarily, we offer opportunities to network with other business owners, potential clients, partners, and really to meet others not only in their field, but other experts that can help them on their growth journey. And we also have educational opportunities. I'll get to those in a second, but we're really excited to roll out some new programming in 2022 to really hone in on some of the resources that we think that the local business community is needing. One of our most sought after benefits is office hours with staff and experts. We are a small but mighty team of 3. Hopefully we will be 4.5 or 5 in the next month or so. We are quickly adding to our team to add even more resources for our entrepreneurs. All of us have, or the 3 of us have different expertise. So any of our members can call us up, book office hours and say, I'm dealing with this issue or this challenge, or can I bounce this idea off of you? And we will set up a time. We will work through that. And if we don't have the answer, we'll find someone who can certainly give an answer on that. One of the a success story we had with that is a company that had a great idea to open up a new clinic on the Northwest side. It was a great idea. He's going to invest a lot of money. We sat down for office hours, talked about all the logistics, and then the final question was, okay, well, where are you going to get your clients, through which healthcare system? And he said, oh, I have to be tapped into a healthcare system. Things like that maybe you don't think about, that entrepreneurs may not be thinking about, are wildly, wildly helpful. We want these companies to grow and make great decisions to not only impact their company, but impact the community. So office hours is a great way to just bounce ideas, try to figure out solutions to issues and challenges. We also bring in experts. On about a monthly basis, we try to hold office hours, virtual office hours with an expert. So at the end of 2021, we had a recruiter come in and host virtual office hours to talk about the labor shortage that everyone is dealing with and how companies can better attract talent to their businesses. Some of our events, and a lot of these were pre-pandemic, so we're still shifting virtual, in-person, things like that. Some of our events include Meet the Masters. That is a live interview with an executive or a founder, a CEO of a major company or organization, talking to them about their growth story. How did they start their company? How did they grow their company? How did they grow themselves? Really giving insight for our entrepreneurs. We have about quarterly membership meetings. Again, this is a great way to network with other business owners, partners, clients, experts, industry leaders. And also offers an educational opportunity as well. For those membership meetings, we also often have a topic that we deep dive into. And speaking of more educational opportunities, we have Guides to Growth, which is a nuanced, typically 1 hour virtual educational opportunity with typically a local company that is going to give you a deep dive into, let's say, tax preparation or legal issues, really give you kind of insight into that you otherwise wouldn't. Membership right now, we're at about 100 members, and we're comprised of companies ranging from startups all the way to major corporations. And we're open to any company, organization, and individual. At one point, we actually had just a few individuals that loved the work that we were doing, and they were involved. And membership typically runs about $650 to $3,000 a year, depending on the company size, revenue, and makeup. We're more than happy to discuss those opportunities with any company or any leader. And we are rolling out some new programming in 2022 that we're really excited about. We will be offering roundtables. We'll be piloting that probably in March or April. Those will be comprised of anywhere from 5 to 10 business owners for them to talk about those very issues that they're facing on a daily basis. Those can get really personal, like almost like therapy sessions, but again, bouncing ideas off of each other, asking, have you dealt with this? How did you deal with this? Things like that. We're also piloting boot camps, which I'm really excited for. I'll get to it in a minute, but we have 2 accelerator programs, which obviously involve both a financial and a time commitment. And one thing we heard from the business community was that they didn't have time to invest into these accelerators. So we started brainstorming, what can we offer these busy entrepreneurs? And we came up with boot camps. So these will be 1 to 2 day, full day sessions likely, honing in on really nuanced topics. So for example, social media, or how to get financing from a bank, how to do sales 101. And that will give an opportunity for our busy entrepreneurs or their team members to really hone in on a specific topic when they don't have time to invest into a longer accelerator. Andrea, next slide, please. Oh, and just another photo of one of our pre-pandemic membership meetings, I believe. So we have 2 accelerator programs. The first one is called Growth Accelerator. This is our flagship program that was originally brought to Milwaukee in 2013 by Dan Eisenberg. This was kind of his brainchild. And the main idea behind Growth Accelerator, again, is these scale-up companies need some more resources. So what resources can we offer them? So this program is specifically designed for companies about $1 million and over. We're leaning on that lower revenue edge, but we want to make sure that the companies are experiencing similar issues, challenges, topics, so that it's relevant for everyone. And this particular accelerator is industry agnostic. We know that there's a lot of great accelerators in the area, particularly in the city, that are focused on a particular sector or cluster. We're industry agnostic, and we actually like the diversity that our companies bring when they're all from different industries. In that vein, we also try to keep the cohort non-competitive. This becomes a really intimate cohort where a lot of things are shared, and we want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable sharing and trusting their cohort members, that there's not going to be any trade secrets or clients stolen, anything like that. So we do our best to keep everyone non-competitive. The main topics that we cover in both of our accelerators, Budding Growth Accelerator, are sales, marketing, finances, operations, and organizational development. In the last year or so, we really realized we've listened to our cohorts, and there's a need for more leadership and management. So we've been intertwining that as well. How do you move from just managing your team to leading the team, and hopefully leading your company through growth? I'm coming up with the curriculum and scheduling it all out now, but we always try to stay nimble and adaptable. So if there is, say, a pandemic or some other unforeseen business need popping up, we can easily change the curriculum. We have really great experts that we use, facilitators that are very knowledgeable in their fields and can stay top of mind of whatever issues are popping up. For the most part, we use a lot of experts. We use a lot of alumni that have gone through our accelerators, and that are business owners. So they can really talk about the challenges that they have faced, how they overcame them, and bond with our clients and our participants in that vein, knowing that that they've been through the same thing probably just a few years before. So overall, Growth Accelerator is a robust and intensive experience to catalyze business growth for companies about $1 million and over. Next slide, please. Oh, and this is a photo just to give you guys reference if you've seen him around town, which you probably have. The guy in the middle is Elmer Moore, our executive director, technically my boss. And the guy, I don't know who's in the yellow, but the man he's speaking with to his left is Jaime Hurtado from Intech Installations Technologies. He went through Growth Accelerator 5, I believe, 2 years ago. So just some insights into what our Growth Accelerator companies have produced over the years. As I mentioned, we started in 2013 and we just graduated our 7th cohort. That has comprised of 91 companies total. We're excited that about a third of those companies were owned by people of color, and about a quarter of those were owned by women. We want to get those numbers up, so we're hoping that you can help us with that effort as well. We're always trying to make our cohorts more and more diverse. In those 9-ish years, they've hired 1,200 new employees, which we are very, very excited about. And they're averaging about 35% revenue growth post-program as well. That may even be higher with this latest cohort, but we're really excited for all that they're accomplishing. Next slide, please. Oh, just another photo. So we are planning to launch another cohort of Growth Accelerator. This will be Growth Accelerator 8. As I mentioned, we just graduated our 7th cohort. With all that was happening in 2020 and 2021, we offered initially a hybrid model of Growth Accelerator, which quickly switched to all virtual, just based on COVID numbers and what was going on in the world. We are really hoping to offer an in-person cohort this summer, fingers crossed, but we'll just have to see what the world looks like at the time. Growth Accelerator typically takes place about once a year, starting in the summer months, so likely May, maybe June, and going to about November or December. As I mentioned, this accelerator is a bit more intensive, so it includes full day sessions. Again, I'm still working out the schedule and the cadence, but they might be bi-weekly or monthly full day sessions. We also assign our companies with an individualized coach that can coach them through the growth that they are experiencing. And they're also placed in small group advisories. This is a precursor for their roundtables if they choose to continue with those post-program. And that again just offers a lot of camaraderie, accountability for them to continue in their growth journey. We admit up to 15 non-competitive companies. And again, most of the companies I mentioned we're a little lenient on the $1 million mark. I would say most of the companies are about $750,000 up to 15 million. So we have a wide range, but we want to make sure that the companies are experiencing similar challenges, issues, so that they can get the most out of our program. So again, we're working on that right now. And as soon as those details are finalized, you'll be able to find them on our website, which I listed there. So for those companies that may not be at the $1 million threshold, we actually created Spark in 2017. We originally created Spark as a precursor for Growth Accelerator. As you can imagine, with $1 million threshold, we had a lot of similar looking companies, mainly owned by white men. As much as I love white men, I am married to one, I am a daughter of one. We really wanted to make those cohorts more diverse because we think that that really helps the equitable economy be more profitable in Milwaukee. And we want to spread that wealth. So we created Spark as an accelerator designed specifically for existing Black, Hispanic, and women-owned companies under $1 million. As I mentioned, we started this almost as a feeder program for Growth Accelerator, but it has completely taken off on its own right. And we are so excited about it. So again, we're not focusing necessarily on startup companies, but companies that are existing, that have sales, that are selling more than their family and neighbors, that have been around for a little bit and are looking to take it to the next level, but aren't quite at the Growth Accelerator level. So Spark is essentially a distilled version of Growth Accelerator. We know that these business owners don't have a full day on a biweekly or monthly basis that they can potentially invest into this accelerator program. So I'll get to the schedule in a minute, but it offers a lot of the similar things as Growth Accelerator, but on a higher level, so that they can deep dive into it later, maybe when they go through Growth Accelerator or boot camp. So again, it offers tailored tools, strategies, and resources specific for those companies. And again, covers very similar topics: sales, marketing, operations, hiring, leadership, and finances. Again, very similar faculty. And I even hesitate to use the word faculty. We don't have a lot of academics. We have business owners, alum, experts, people who have been through it, who have done it before, who might be in it right now, facilitating in their expertise. Again, it's a cohort model, and that really offers some great camaraderie, some accountability, and that they can be bouncing ideas, challenges, et cetera, off of each other. We offered Spark completely virtually for the first time in 2020. And I don't think we'll ever go back to in-person again. We realized that the virtual model really allows accessibility and flexibility for our entrepreneurs. Again, we realized that they were still working in their business a lot, and we don't want to be taking them away from that. A lot of times we had business owners listening to us while they were helping a client, or while they were doing someone's hair, or doing inventory. We don't want to take anyone from their business. We just want to add to it. You can move on to the next slide. So this is not the most flattering screenshot, I will preface that, but this was a screenshot from our Zoom of one of the last sessions for our latest cohort of Spark. So we've had 6 cohorts of Spark since we started in 2017. Again, this cohort has really boomed on its own. 127 graduate companies, about 2/3 owned by people of color, and about 75% owned by women, which we're very proud about. 235 total new hires. I think that's actually closer to 250 or so. And they're averaging, I'd say, at least 40% revenue growth. Since these are smaller companies, they tend to grow really fast in the beginning. They might even be closer to 50 or 60%. And we're averaging about, now with the virtual model, about 2 companies per year. I'm sorry, 2 cohorts per year for Spark. Oh, this is one of our Spark graduates, Maggie Juice from the Real Good Life in Wauwatosa. She will likely be going through Growth Accelerator, will be at the level to go through Growth Accelerator in the next year or so. She went through Spark, I think, 2 cohorts ago. So we are actually recruiting for Spark 7 right now, which we're really, really excited for. As I mentioned, we typically have a cohort in the spring and a cohort in the fall. So this will be our spring 2022 cohort, which will be the 7th. Again, it's all virtual. So that allows our entrepreneurs to listen and learn from anywhere that they are. Every session is recorded, although we do encourage everyone to attend live so that they can be participating in discussion and facilitation. This particular cohort runs 10 weeks, this time March through May. I believe March 22nd is our tentative kickoff date. And the schedule typically includes a Tuesday morning virtual session about 9 a.m. until noon. And then we have a workshop Thursday afternoons, and that's really to deep dive into the subject that was previously discussed. For this particular program, again, since these are earlier stage companies, most companies range from about $25,000 to $750,000 in annual revenue. Again, we're looking for companies that have some sales under their belt, has a little bit of history, and are looking to take it to the next level. There is a $500 program fee for Spark that includes the 10-week accelerator, and also 1-year membership for Scale Up Milwaukee, which typically retails for about $650. So they can continue to have those resources. We do have limited scholarships available for companies that are unable to make that commitment. So more information can be found at our website, including the application at www.scaleupmilwaukee.org. And we'll be accepting applications probably through the end of February, but I tell companies the earlier you can get it in, the earlier you get in, or that we get back to you. So I'm excited for any companies that you may be able to share with us. Great. And I believe that is it. And I see that there's already a question from Cynthia. Is this an English only accelerator? Yes, thank you for reminding me of that question. So these are English only accelerators. We would love to be able to offer, probably our next would be a Spanish speaking accelerator. If you guys have any resources, or if you guys would be willing to partner, point us in the right direction, that has been something that has been on our priority list for probably since we started Spark. Again, our small but mighty team of 3 have been having some difficulties pulling those resources together. So if you have the resources, if you know of the resources, we would love to be able to offer a Spanish speaking accelerator as well. Thank you, Cynthia. You reminded me that was one of the things that I was supposed to talk about. And Andrea, if the next slide, I think, has my contact information. If you just want to leave that up, I am more than happy to talk to anyone about the different resources, the accelerators, anything we have like that.
So we'll open up to more questions. Thank you, Elizabeth. We have a little bit of time. So one of the things that I just wondered about is, do you see any complementary, other entrepreneurial support resources that are helpful to organizations looking to get to the point to where they can become a part of Scale Up's programming?
Sure, of course. So it's actually coincidental that Patrick just popped off. BizStarts is an organization that we refer a lot of companies to. What we always say to companies that approach us, whether it's for our accelerators, typically it's the accelerators, but talking with us in any way, it's never a no, it's a not yet or not this program. We will find a way to help you in any way that we can. And there will be a time that we will be able to help you. Maybe you're early stage, maybe you're still in kind of the startup mode. Again, our membership is open to anyone. You don't even have to be a company. We have nonprofits that are members as well. So membership is a great tool, but if a company is specifically looking for more technical resources, assistance, things like that, BizStarts is one that we refer to a lot. We also refer a ton of, and actually have a lot of overlap of clients with WIBIC, particularly when it comes to financing. They finance a lot of underserved communities, and then also have a lot of, I guess I would call it wraparound services. So helping coach you through your cash flow once you receive that financing, and how to budget and forecast and things like that. Brew City Match, which is my second presentation for today, is another great resource in the city. That's more so geared towards companies, I guess originally that were looking for space, but there's also different tracks that include business coaching, planning. One thing that I found in Milwaukee is that if you ask, someone will help you. we're a very nice community, Midwestern nice. And if someone can't do something specifically for you themselves, they can typically refer you to someone else who might be a better fit. And that's what we try to do all day. So, Scale Up does not offer any financing. We're not a bank. We can't give away money. But if you were to call us up and say, I'm going to apply for a loan, what do I do? We'll say, here are 3 bankers that we personally have worked with, or companies have personally worked with that have a great reputation. Let us help you set up, a call with them. We really try to connect people that we like to other people that we like and that we know can really support their growth. Those are just 2 or 3 organizations that we love working with. Any of the chambers, I think, are always a wonderful place to start, but we have a lot of overlap with WIBIC, BizStarts, and Brew City Match.
And what does a successful application look like?
Oh, that's a great question. So whether for Spark or Growth Accelerator, they're both similar applications. You just want to get an insight into where you are in your business journey. When you started, kind of, we ask for revenue numbers. All of that information is kept confidential by me. I'm the only one who sees it. And we just want to know kind of where you are. What challenges are you experiencing? What do you anticipate coming down the pike in the next year, which is difficult for anyone to answer these days. So I would say give us as much detail as you feel comfortable. I don't need a novel, but giving me some insight into where you are in your business, how you started, what you're facing. Give us some insight into that, and that's really successful. What you're looking to get out of this program, that helps me compile a cohort that while we like to have a diverse cohort, we want to make sure there's some cohesiveness, that companies are experiencing similar issues, challenges. Again, that's why we separate the sparks and the growth accelerators, but giving me some insight into that. And then what you hope to do as you're achieving growth is really helpful for me to learn. And don't make me hound you when I reach back out.
Talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if there are no other questions, oh, you got applause.
I will take applause.
Thank you again, Elizabeth, and we will make sure to share your information in a follow-up email.
Thank you.
Just really appreciate you sharing the resources that you all provide our entrepreneurial community. And for everyone who is here, this is a reminder that our meetings are the third Tuesday of each month. So next month, we will have a presentation on self-help federal credit union, and that will be on Tuesday, February 15th. So thank you all again for your time. Thank you, Elizabeth, for being here and presenting. And I hope everyone has a great day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.